Well, hello everyone. Today is Wednesday and it is day 139 of my quest to lose 150 pounds. We are trying to get to 200 pounds by my 40th birthday, and it is coming up, and we're closing down on the minus 1 year. So I've been working this morning on the sort of the system, the graphs, to be able to show some of the metrics in a more graphical form. I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's not a word. But I'm excited. Now, technically, if you're seeing this and you saw the video on Monday, you should have already seen that, because it's supposed to come out on Monday. But I'm trying to figure out, so it's going to be the first iteration. It's taking a little bit longer than I wanted to, but we're getting to it. We're going to do it. And so that is that. Something that I wanted to share today is that my arm gets tired like this. I'm going to hold it down at an angle a little bit. I woke up this morning and a couple things. Whenever I wake up, I'm craving some kind of sugar. And for the longest time, I was having, or I shouldn't say for the longest time. Sometimes I just say these words without really thinking it through. For a few weeks prior to these last 2 weeks that we've been doing this in a more committed fashion, I would have some media lunas, which is sort of like a butter croissant, but with like a sugar syrup on top, that are very popular and very traditional here in Argentina. And I still, when I wake up, have that it's a strong craving for that. But I have to say that today, the craving is definitely a little bit less than it has been in the past 2 weeks. And so I did have it. It was there. It was definitely present. It was definitely strong, but it was definitely not as strong as it has been in the past. Now, something else, I want to say a little bit of a curveball, but it really isn't that much of a curveball. My Lumen measurement this morning was a 1. I haven't gotten a 1 in a few weeks. So I was excited about that. But also because I have been waking up in morning fat burn for the last few days consistently, Lumen wants today to be a higher carb day. So I need to eat at least 60 grams of carbs in one sitting and then measure my metabolism a couple of hours later, to make sure that my body is able to shift into carb burning mode and not just be storing those carbs. So that in the past, for the last couple of years, or I guess a little bit over a year since we started this. Yeah, a little bit over a year since I started measuring with Lumen. Higher carb days were sort of a free-for-all, I guess. Like I feel like it gave my brain, or they were giving my brain permission to just go crazy, go all out and eat whatever we wanted. And I haven't gotten one of those, in a while. And now that we do, I was feeling tempted to we get to go all out today. And I'm happy to report that I was able to understand where that was going, I guess, and where my brain was going, and how it was getting. It was trying to go back into that mode, or that place that we've been in the past, where what Lumen calls boost days. So you're supposed to boost your carb intake in order to make sure that your metabolism is using carbs correctly. And it always used that as an excuse to pig out, and it wanted to go back to that place. It's like, oh, we get to pig out today, and it was strong for a moment. And I was able to take a moment, take a step back, actually talk it out with Delima. We had an actual, conversation about it. And she said, well, let's think about this. Could you have this? Could you do that? And at the end of the day, realized that, yeah, I wanted to go all out and I wanted to pig out. And I said, it's not necessary. I don't actually need to. And the cravings today are not as strong. So I decided that, they're still strong. I just don't want to be misleading with that. They're still very strong. And there's a part of me that wants to run out right now and go eat. But when it was time to make a decision for lunch and we already had our menu, I guess, consider a moment, actually going out to lunch and getting something else. And I was able to not do that. We were able to, it was close, but we were able to decide, or I was able to, with the help of Jolima, decide not to go and do it. And, decided that we have a menu for a reason, and we're just going to adjust my carb intake based on the healthier carbs that are basically not entirely sugar. So I consider that a win. It's still somewhat, very much precarious, but at least we were able to make that decision, and that's pretty good. And so we're staying with this. So for lunch, Dorima's helping because I was trying to finish the work that I was doing, and I was running a little behind. So we're making a combination of brown rice and quinoa and some chicken and vegetables. And we're going to make it sort of like an Asian style dish with a little bit of sesame oil and some fish sauce, just to give it a little more umami. But yeah, so she started out, she did all the chopping and actually cooking the rice and the quinoa, and then I'm going to go and do all the other stuff, finish it up. We're going to eat it. I'll show you guys. We'll take a look at the numbers. But yeah, today's a good day. Today is a good day. All right, and here it is. So let's see. I don't have the specifics. Jolima was kind enough to be writing down the amounts that I was weighing and all the quantities and stuff. And so I haven't gone over, and we're both starving. So we're just going to try to jump in and eat now. But yeah, basically this is just a little bit of rice, a little bit of quinoa, vegetables, and chicken. And then for the sort of Asian flavoring, we did a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of fish sauce, and a little bit of oyster sauce. So it looks pretty good. We're gonna, I don't know exactly how many grams of carbs, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 60 based on the higher amount of rice that I'm using for this, because we do want to get into carb burn and make sure that we can measure for it. And so I'll have this, and then I'm also gonna have some grapes for dessert afterwards, and then we'll measure and we'll see if I could get my body to burn those carbs. Let's take a look at lunch real quick, and we will see that lunch ended up being 1,440 calories. It's pretty significant. And we have 113 grams of carbs, 92 of protein, and 70 of fat. So let's take a look here at, it ended up being 355 grams of mixed veggies, and that had some broccoli, some zucchini, some onions, a little bit of carrot, some bell peppers. And then we have, and as you can see here, the carbs is 14 grams of carbs, but they're in green because Lumen doesn't count non-starchy veggies as part of your carbohydrates for the day. Then we have 280 grams of chicken, about 5 grams of olive oil, about half a tablespoon of ghee or clarified butter, about 30 grams of raw peanuts, 20 grams of oyster sauce, 100 grams of corn, 200 grams of rice, 20 grams of quinoa, because it didn't really have that much, and then about 0.2 tablespoons, because they didn't have another measurement, of sesame seed oil. It doesn't really add much of anything, but I wanted to include it anyway. 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, 2 teaspoons of sriracha, and half a lime. So that's basically that. And then for dessert, I had about 20 grapes, and that's about 90 calories and 21 grams of carbs. That is the total. Now we are going to measure and see if we, it's 100 grams of carb. That's a lot of carbs in one sitting. So this should basically, like, we want to be in carb burning mode. So let's see. Did you eat at least 60 grams of carbs 1 to 2 hours ago? Yes. And this was lunch. All right. I can't talk while I do this, so you guys just hang in there.
Inhale deeply through your lumen. Hold your breath. Exhale in 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, ran out of breath a little bit there at the end. All right, so it's not a 5, but it is a 3, and that is pretty awesome. It says you reached carb burn. You are burning both carbs and fat. Fat 55%, carbs 45%. Says you're metabolically flexible. It's great to see your body burning the carbs you ate for energy instead of storing it as body fat. Now, did you know you can enjoy healthy carbs without risking weight gain and stay on track with your goal? I mean, I guess I did. But I don't know. I wish that we were burning more carbs. You know, I wish that we were doing more. Okay. But overall, this is good. It says boost day measurement, and this just says boost day, become metabolically flexible. Having a flexible metabolism means your body can efficiently switch between using carbs and fats as a source of fuel according to its needs. And you know, this just a bunch of the signs and stuff. We're not going to get into it. Basically says you're doing a great job. Continue to follow your plan for the rest of the day. You reach carb burn, highest level after eating 3. Plan a 12-hour fast tonight to help your body shift back to a state of fat burn. Now, this is when it's starting to get a little bit tricky, because I have, supposedly, I should be eating 270 grams of carbs, and as we have established, I need to be eating at least 176 grams of protein. So it should be basically nothing but carbs and protein for the rest of the day, and try to get at least 1,100 more calories. But I don't know, guys. I don't know how to do these, because I'm actually not feeling hungry at all right now. And of course, I could always go for junk food. I mean, like, my brain definitely wants to go for that. But what we have on the menu for today is tuna, like tuna and nuts. And so, you know, what I call my fatty tuna ball. But as far as, I don't know, protein and carbs, I am not sure. We might have to make some adjustments to meet this. I don't know. I'll think about it and I'll report. All right, it's time for dinner, and I've been really busy all afternoon, so I haven't really had a chance to look at all the macros, but don't worry about it. We're going to do it. We're going to look at the macros, but I'm having just the leftovers. So basically, this is about, I'm going to consider it half of what I had for lunch. It's probably a little bit less, to be honest, but just to be generous, and because I do have the extra calories, I'm counting it as half of what we had for lunch. And then I'm having one arepa, because again, it's a higher carb day, but these are better carbs than if I were out to get, like, you know, straight up sugar or something like that. So I'll plug this in, and then after I'm done eating, before I go to bed, we'll take a look at the macros and we'll know exactly what we ate today. It is finally time to look at the macros for dinner. So like I said, it ended up being about half of what we had for lunch. Not the grapes, but you know, the actual rice dish. And so it was half of 92. So basically, I didn't put in the food, but just logged the macros because it's easier, just calculating it that way. And again, you know, this is an approximation. It's not exact, but you know, it's probably close enough. And as far as being something that I can maintain without it being too overwhelming, this is a little bit easier. So Comes out to about 46 grams of carbs, 45 grams of protein, and 35 grams of fat. And then I'm also about to have a glass of red wine, which adds a little bit of carbs. Now, I also had about 30 grams of honey with tea in the afternoon as a snack, and, the lunch. So what we ended up having for today is 188 grams carbs out of 270 that I was technically supposed to have. 137 grams of protein out of 150, although technically my real requirement for protein is 176, because that's basically, we can talk about this some other time, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm not losing any muscle mass and that I'm building a little bit. And so at least 150 is not bad, but 176 would be ideal in terms of protein intake for myself. And then 105 out of 80 grams of fat, ended up having a little extra fat, but I was having a little less carbs. And for the most part, the fat was coming from decent sources. So we continue to be a little bit under for calories this week. 2384, let's see. 2174 and 2343. We really should be closer to 2500, but it's okay, I guess, for now, being like this. So not bad, you guys, not bad. This seems to be a successful day. I think it's successful in the sense that I didn't end up going to pig out, which is something that happens with when I have a boost day. And so that is it for today. Thank you guys for another day of doing this. We keep going. It was I think in the end it was definitely a victory. Having been able to not go and pig out and use this boost day to basically go out and have whatever I wanted, but not in a healthy way. We had, more carbs than normal, I guess. Let's see, 144, 141, 188. But we did it in what is considered a healthier carb. And there are healthier carbs than what I had today. But these carbs are healthier than some other choices that I could have made. And so this overall is a pretty good victory. So that is it, you guys. I will see you tomorrow.